Hello everybody, welcome back to Simulated Heaven and welcome back to iRacing. I'm in the Star Mazda. The Star Mazda was recently updated with the latest new tyre model version 5, so I thought I'd give it a go. Also, I've recently purchased this Fanatec add-on wheel. As you know, when I bought the wheelbase, it's a Club Sport wheelbase that I originally bought this lovely BMW rim. Now this is quite a heavy wheel. It's awesome for like GT or touring cars or anything like that, but for these kind of open wheel, very twitchy open wheel vehicles, then this is why I bought, and let's do a quick release here quickly. That's why I bought this, the Fanatec. It's basically like an F1 replica wheel. It's a really nice wheel. It feels really high quality. Like the build quality is amazing. All the buttons feel amazing. The functionality is exactly the same as the BMW wheel. It's just obviously set up more like an F1 wheel. And also obviously, like every time I change the wheels, I have to set up the steering wheel again in the game. I have to do the wizard, you know, where you have to do the lock to lock calibration and all that, like just to make sure that the wheel is accurately set up for this steering wheel. Yeah, so without further ado, let's show you the new Star Mazda with this new Fanatec F1 style wheel. Now I have done a little bit of practice, not much, probably about 20 minutes, and I'm going to try not to ruin anyone's practice lap. The guy is 20 seconds behind me. Now, my first impressions are, first of all, my first impressions even of the Star Mazda. To be honest, not much has changed. I think this kind of a vehicle does not benefit so obviously from the tyre model that some of the other cars do in the game. But there is one quite major thing. Obviously this kind of vehicle, like Formula vehicle, it's very twitchy. So with the improvements in the tyre model, you can now feel a lot more clearly when the tyres, you know, when the car's about to kind of move around on you. So you can basically, it's easier for you to make adjustments and feel when the car is about to brake and make a small adjustment, you know, to counter that. Whereas before, you basically were learning the limits of the car without having that quite as much feeling. So that's the thing. The tyre model improvement definitely makes you feel the tyres on the road more, and you can definitely make more adjustments. You know, the car is a lot more catchable than it used to be, which is great because this car is, you know, has always been a good car in iRacing, but it was just the fact that you basically had to learn some of what it would do from memory rather than from feeling. So that's great, and as you can see, it is a really fun car. I'm driving Okayama International Circuit. I'm not going that fast. Like I said, I've only really practiced for like 20 minutes. But yeah, that extra feeling in the steering wheel is absolutely awesome. Certainly makes this car, you know, much more enjoyable, and it's a car that I would actually consider racing after this update, whereas before I was not really willing to. I mean, of course, like you would expect, if you get the wheels on the grass with this car, you will expect to spin out pretty much, which is fair enough. I think that's pretty realistic, but still a great update. Whoa, whoa, see like that? Oh, one wheel on the grass. As you would expect, it spins. But that was my fault for not for not controlling the car properly. Now let's move on to the Fanatec wheel, the F1 wheel. Now I do really like this wheel because it's a lighter wheel. I somehow have a little bit more direct feeling with the force feedback. I'm not saying that the force feedback in the BMW wheel is not very good. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying it's a different style of feeling. You can't, because it's a lighter wheel, because you know you're kind of closer to the force feedback, if you like. It kind of makes it a bit more direct to force feedback, a bit stronger maybe. I don't know. It's hard to explain in words. But the main advantage with this wheel is that you can easily make fast adjustments very, very quickly. It's such a light wheel. It's got a much lower radius, you know, than the BMW wheel. So when you need to make small adjustments, you can do that without, you know, having the heavy wheel to counteract that. So yeah, I'm really happy that I bought this. It's certainly a great wheel for any kind of open wheel car, you know. Whoa, 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 whoa. Oh, that was not very good. And it certainly continues to elevate the Club Sport wheel. I mean, I actually and ahed whether I should buy the Club Sport wheel, because I see lots of people online saying the reliability is not good, blah blah blah. But I have loved it ever since I've bought my Fanatec Club Sport wheel. I mean, I haven't really had any issues. I haven't really had any issues with how the wheel works, you know. The wheel has worked pretty much flawlessly ever since I've had it, and I've had it a good 7 or 8 months I think now. And you know, the fact you can add these 2 wheel rims, I mean, it's not exactly cheap, but I believe that this rim was like something like 130 US. But still, if you're a serious sim racer, this is a great addition. Like, to have the option of the 2 rims, it adds to the immersion, it adds to the realism, you know, and it kind of helps you to have something which is just more suited to the different vehicles that you are racing. So yeah, all in all, it's pretty great. I would just like to point out that talking and driving is not my forte. So these few laps that I've been doing live are certainly not very good. Certainly not very fast. I was actually doing faster lap times before. I believe if we go back to lap 8, that might be a better indication of me driving a bit better, let's say. Yeah. But yeah, so I'm very happy with both of these updates. The Star Mazda update is pretty good, pretty solid. It's a more enjoyable car that I'll drive more in the future. I do still enjoy the Spec Racer Ford a bit more, because that has a more raw, direct feeling. I don't know. In that one, it's kind of nice. I do find the Star Mazda has a little bit more a lighter feel, which I'm not so good with these kind of lighter cars. Whereas I do somewhat prefer the slightly heavier feeling vehicles such as the Spec Racer 4. But this is still a great update. It's a great car. I will think about racing it more often in the future. And yeah, like I said, this Fanatec wheel, I'm absolutely loving it. I'm so happy that I bought it. Like at first you kind of wonder if it's a bit of an excess to buy a whole new wheel for these kind of open wheel racing cars, but after you've tried it you kind of realize why so many other people do it. I mean, you can of course still race with the regular, you know, BMW wheel. I mean, I have done it absolutely fine. You know, it isn't a massive handicap, but it just gives you a little bit of an edge, a slight better immersion and feeling of being able to make adjustments very quickly by having the Fanatec F1 wheel. And the other thing that is great about this wheel, if I can show you, I do really like the paddles. They're very heavily engineered. They, you know, they're very nice, and they really fit in with the F1 style feeling of the rim, which is great. Anyway, I'm gonna leave you guys. Thank you for watching the video. I hope you have maybe got something out of it. If you have any specific questions, please can you let me know in the comment section below. Thank you for watching, and see you guys in the next one. Bye bye.